When we think of 2023 movies, we think of the Super Mario Bros., Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, Wonka, and of course Barbenheimer, which is Oppenheimer and Barbie. The movies mentioned are fan favorites and excellent movies. Then there's the bad movies like Peter Pan and Wendy. Ana de Armas Ghosted. No disrespect to Anna, the movie was not clicking with me.
Are you sure about that?
They only liked Ana de Armas and the film. I can see you simps out there.
Simp! Simp! Simp!
And the infamous Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania.
Shut the fuck up. No one cares about your robot fanfiction. Know your fucking place, trash.
The reason why this film was hated because of the absence of Louise and the reliant on too much CGI and the disgusting look of MODOK.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Movies I didn't mention that you were expecting to appear is Shazam, Fury of Gods, and The Flash. Because I believe that these movies are actually good, but not in the standards of Spider-Man nor Barbenheimer. We will talk about Shazam, Fury of Gods eventually. For now, let's focus on The Flash. Besides the goofy-looking CGI and Ezra Miller's controversy, The Flash overall is a good movie. When it released, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 55%, which I couldn't find in evidence, but I know they rated it that low, and currently it's at 83%. It has a good plot and great moral lesson with Nora Allen, which we will share on the video. For now, let's break down all of the bad, good, and needs improvement if ever given a chance from the movie.
Barry Allen the Flash returns to his childhood home Gotham to help Bruce Wayne Batman and Diana Prince Wonder Woman stop a robbery. With his interaction with Iris West about the case of his mother's death, he accidentally uses the Speed Force to form a Chronicle and travels back in time to an alternative 2013 where Nora is alive. After the Chronicle incident, it was the last time we see Ben Affleck as Batman. I just wanted to share this part because it's an end of an era when you realize it. Back on 2013, they reenact the events for 2013 Barry to gain superpowers, but it accidentally causes Barry to lose his own. They learn that General Zod is preparing to invade Earth, and the Barrys attempt to assemble the Justice League. Unfortunately, Arthur Curry Aquaman, Diana Prince Wonder Woman, and Victor Stone Cyborg does not exist in this timeline, which leads to them heading to the Wayne Mansion, where they find Bruce Wayne Batman. Barry convinces Bruce to return as Batman, and help them find Kal-El, Superman. They find a Kryptonian pod in Siberia, in which is not Kal-El Superman but his cousin Kara Zor-El Supergirl, which she regains her powers from the sun. Barry enlists Bruce's help to regain his power, and they fight Zod and his forces. Kara learns that Zod intercepted Kal-El's escape pod, and accidentally killed him while attempting to extract the Codex. Batman sacrifices himself in an unsuccessful attempt to destroy Zod's ship. The Barrys and their time travel attempts to save Batman and Kara fail, and they cannot change the sequence of events. The multiverse implodes, and an older, future version of Barry tries to reverse the timeline. 2013 Barry sacrifices himself to save Barry, and wipes his corrupted self from the timeline. Barry reverts the timeline, attending Henry's court hearing which they won, and is contacted by Bruce, whose appearance changes due to the timeline alteration. At first I didn't know who's this actor that plays this Batman, until I did my research and found out that this actor also played Batman, and for the casuals out there, he's George Clooney. He played Batman in the terrible movie Batman and Robin that no one wants to talk about, and that's how the movie ended.
Now that you know the plot, let's talk about the bad stuff from the film. Ezra Miller. If Ezra Miller did not commit the allegations, I think many would still like his role. And when I searched why they hated him, it's most likely because the allegations against him. And the audience is biased to Grant Gustin. Another unique one being that his role as the Flash was childish, which I agree, but he does his role well. I'm not siding with Ezra Miller as a whole, but I like his role as the Flash. Huge shout-outs also to Grant Gustin, which I also agree that he's the better Flash than Miller. CGI. This is the most talked about part about the whole film. First thing that the audience noticed was the suit, which we will talk about later. When Barry rushes through Gotham City, it looks pretty bad for a blockbuster film with over $200 million budget.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
The way Barry runs is still very goofy for me, but as time goes on, I am starting to see the idea behind it and made me like it. The lightning effect was bad for many people, but I personally like it, but the yellow lighting behind the whole Flash saving the babies from falling is a huge burn to my eyes. Speaking of the babies look very goofy as F.
Another one.
Next usage of CGI was the Flash running again, which at the first part was good, then it returned to the goofy running that everyone hates.
Another one.
The movie later on shows how goofy it is when Barry actually demonstrates his running without his powers. Then the first appearance of the Chronable appeared, which we will discuss later on as well. Barry's suit. The Flash's suit is actually pretty decent. The reason people hate it because it's goofy without the yellow lightning stripes and it looks like a very tight Spider-Man suit with no design.
Emotional, damn it!
That's mostly why they hate it and nothing much else. The Chronable. This is where experts claim that is not good. As a casual movie enjoyer, it's not that bad and I don't fully mind it. The Chronable can be accessed by the Flash when he exceeds the speed of light forming the Chronable. In the Chronable, you can see the figures like Superman look like it lacked texture and lighting. Like I said earlier, I still don't mind it and I will never ever judge it. Sure, you can always bring up the whole $200+ million budget, but have the experts ever thought what's inside a Chronable is? The original Flashpoint from 2013 doesn't even have this perspective yet, and I still love how they have executed the Chronable. Good job, DC. Now that I have addressed the major issues with the movie, let's now talk about the good stuff. The plot. I find the plot pretty interesting, and I was never bored watching this film, which is a feat from a DC movie that only The Suicide Squad from 2021 and not that garbage from 2016 made me feel. The Barry and Iris West is a pretty cute relationship in the film. Michael Keaton's Batman executed his role as a huge help throughout Barry's saving Supergirl extravaganza, which we will talk about later. The running jokes were great, and Barry realizing that he messed up the timeline when Michael J. Fox is not Marty McFly and Victor Stone not being the Cyborg. Who knew that Barry saving his mother from death can cause a huge destruction in the timeline and the other dimensions as well? The inevitable intersection of Batman and Supergirl's death is good writing, and how young Barry turned into a corrupt version of himself obsessed with saving Supergirl and Batman. General Zod was much stronger and more menacing in this film than the 2013 Man of Steel, which we will talk about him later too. Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman. The introduction of Batman was stupid and very disrespectful, but he still has the moves even though he looks washed up. It's so surprising how he survived alone in this timeline without an Alfred. Oh wait, he was mentioned. I loved that instead of adapting to modernization, they kept the design of the mansion and Batcave from the original Batman movies from 1989 and 1992. Batman explaining to the Barrys how time travel works was mind-blowing for me, and it makes sense in many ways. Let's compare it. Avengers Endgame's time travel theory changing the past doesn't change the future according to Banner. Also, Rhodes and the other Avengers mentioned some time travel movies like Star Trek, Terminator, Time Cop, Time After Time, Quantum Leap, Wrinkle in Time, Somewhere in Time. Okay, that's already a lot, and I'm assuming that Rhodes is just mentioning random time travel movies and Ant-Man even calling Back to the Future bullshit. Let's get back with Batman explaining how the timeline works with Barry's Chronicle. He explained that when movies told them that if they change the past, it creates a new future, and that theory is not true, and it doesn't work like that. When you go back and change the past, you create a fulcrum. You put yourself on a whole nother strand of spaghetti, new future and new past. It's retrocausal, and it goes both or many ways. Barry did was he changed the future and the past, and it will eventually end up with a multiverse, that some strands are almost parallel and of course the inevitable intersections. This theory is something not done in other time travel movies. I don't know if there's another movie thought about this, let me know in the comments. Sample of an inevitable intersection is Batman meeting Alfred, Iris West dating Barry, and the deaths of Batman and Supergirl while battling against Zod in this timeline. Something interesting in this timeline is that Gotham is one of the safest cities in the world, which I assume that Gotham and Metropolis switched sides. Moving on to Batman and the Barrys saving Supergirl. I like how the young Barry realizes that he was not inevitable to bullets and his reaction was priceless. This was followed by Batman utilizing almost all his very old gadgets from the early 90s. The introduction of Supergirl would have been iconic if the movie was a success. I like how they made Supergirl's outfit very slim and light. Her name is Kara Zor-El, by the way, Superman's older cousin, where she explained how she ended up on Earth and greeted her badly. Her character development and her chemistry with the Barrys and Batman is very lacking, which is understanding, but it would have been cool if we had like at least 2 to 5 minutes of her background. Overall, I like both Batman and Supergirl in this film. The Barrys' interaction. The Barrys were the unexpected duo from the movie that was never featured in the previous Flashpoint films. They had a rocky relationship, and they kind of fix it in the end. The only reason Corrupted Flash existed because of main timeline Barry. The scene where young Barry is twice annoying than old Barry, then him realizing how truly of an annoyance he was, made me chuckled. The time where old Barry transferred his powers to young Barry was a bit unnecessary at my POV, and it could have just gave those young Barry testing out the powers to Supergirl that clearly had no backstory. Like I said before, it's the Flash's movie, so I want hate at this. Young Barry being really stupid at times was a bit annoying, but I let it slide when they had great fighting combos at the final battle. Old Barry teaching young Barry some useful techniques is cool, and the Chronicle made me feel sad when Corrupted Flash shows up and meets young Barry, realizing that he's the past self of Corrupted Flash, which then young Barry made an ultimate sacrifice to save the Chronicle and the multiverse. Nora Allen. Arguably the best character in the film, just behind Keaton Batman. She is the mother of Barry Allen, the biggest factor in the fate of the multiverse. Who knew saving your mother could cause a darker fate of the Earth? I'm referring at this film, by the way, in
Nice.
the original Flashpoint movie when he saved his mother. Thomas Wayne was Batman, the father of Bruce, and instead of Zod invading Earth, it was the war between Atlanteans and Amazonians, in which the Atlanteans led by Aquaman destroyed the Earth when they lost the war, which Barry then prevented his alternate version from saving his mother and turning it to be a huge disaster. In the 2023 Flash movie, instead of saving his mother from being murdered, it all revolves with a can of tomato soup. Instead of Thomas Wayne Batman, we got Michael Keaton Batman, which is a fan favorite. Instead of war between Atlanteans and Amazonians, we got invasion of Zod without Superman, but Kara Zor-El. Huge props to the scriptwriters that made the plot work and entertaining. Back to Nora Allen, I love her accent and the role of a mother to his son and husband, and the emotional scene at the last part of the film made me shed tears and called my mom and tell her I miss her. But the death of Nora Allen is needed for the greater good of the multiverse. Battle of General Zod. General Zod became more menacing in this film. He menacingly killed Kal-El and menacingly adapted easily in the Earth's senses. He menacingly prevents young Barry and Kara to defeat him and menacingly never let young Barry came close on saving her. You know why. 'Cause he's a freaking menace. Ezra Miller. Again, we're now back at everyone's favorite Flash actor. DC can't really hire Grant Gustin revealed by director Andy Muschietti. Just replace Miller with any suited actor with clean mental records and no crime history. Barry's suit, again. The suit is not that bad, the shoes look nice, and the yellow lightning glowing around his body whenever he activates his power is cool. It could have been cooler if the yellow lightning stays intact and would just glow lighter. CGI. Again? They could have learned the running technique from the old Flash movies, CW Flash and Makari, on how they run. The lightning effect is perfect, but the running could have been better if it was adapted from the mentioned movies, series. A bit more of Supergirl. Supergirl had huge potential to make the movie a success if she had more minutes. Like I said, replace the goofy young Barry scene with Kara's backstory, and that's about it. I liked the idea that they put what could have been a Nicolas Cage Superman fighting a giant spider instead of Christopher Reeve's Superman. Why not put CW's Flash as a cameo appearance? That would have made the fans hyped up. That's all for today's video. Comment down below if I missed something and drop your best suggestions and your hate towards my take, and I'll see you guys next time.